Trump just dropped a new video with the Saudi prince from Fox. So we're going to take a look, see what's going on today, and see if there's any big news.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. We have a extremely respected man in the Oval Office today, and a friend of mine for a long time, a very good friend of mine. And I'm very proud of the job he's done. What he's done is incredible in terms of human rights and everything else. And he's the Crown Prince, the future king, and I just want to pay my greatest
the human rights
to
are better.
Father, King, who is an amazing man. I met him early on. He greeted me at the airport at an age that was pretty high up there, and it was about 117 degrees, and he was standing on the red carpet as I came out of the plane, and he's amazing. And when I met his brilliant son, it was at the Oval Office. Shortly thereafter, you came in representing the country, and I called the father. I said, "This guy is fantastic." And I don't know if that helped you or hurt you, but obviously it couldn't have hurt too much because here you are, right? So we had a great meeting. And
King of the Glazers.
The office has changed quite a bit. And we inherited a mess. You actually told me you thought the country was in big trouble. I'm not going to use the exact word that you use. I refuse to say that you thought our country was dead a year and a half, 2 years ago. But the country was in trouble, and now we have the hottest country in the world. You said that also. And we do. We have the United States is right now the hottest country in the world. And between the tariffs and the election, November 5th election, we've done things that nobody can believe. $21 trillion will be the amount invested in the United States or committed to invest in 1 year. So I'm here 9 months. We're up to almost $18 trillion. Biden,
money.
as an example, the Biden administration, if you call it that, it's not, to me, it was the Biden lack of administration. They were less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We're going to be $21 trillion for 1 year. I think that's hard to believe. The biggest in history was a certain country, $3 trillion. We're going to be $21 trillion. On top of that, prices are coming down. We inherited a mess with high prices. The worst inflation
Prices
in the history of
are
our
still high,
country.
man.
We had inflation that was a single 4 years, the worst inflation in the history of the United States. Gas prices through the roof, and that's after destroying our petroleum reserve, which was meant for wars and big emergencies, not to try and win an election. They opened up the reserve so that people get $3 less in gasoline, and it didn't work. They got about 3 cents less. Because as big as those reserves are, they're peanuts when you're talking about that kind of traffic. And we're rebuilding the reserves. We're doing all of this, and we've done a job. We're also bringing down prices very substantially, and we've already brought them down very, very substantially. Gasoline is way down. I think you'll be seeing $2 gasoline, but we're now at $2.50, $2.45. Some are lower than that.
Yeah,
it was $4.50, $5, $6, $3.50, $3.75. Under Biden, all different numbers, but way high. And we have energy way down.
It's down, but I don't know.
The biggest thing to me, because I know what it means in jobs, is
like some places like Oregon. I mean, I'm in Oregon, and all the Northwest is still like $5-6+ a gallon. So it's weird too, because they have the prices on the pump, right? So the price, they have the taxes on the pump. So it says like, oh, you're getting charged 50 cents state tax, 20 cents county tax, whatever. And that should be it. So it's like, why is it like $3 more than in like Texas or Tennessee, but you're only charging 70 cents in taxes? Doesn't really make sense.
The fact that we're at over $17 trillion, Scott, and we expect to be around $21 trillion in 1 year. And that's many times bigger than in history. The highest number was $3 trillion. And we're going to be at $21 trillion. That means new plants, new AI, new auto plants. We have auto plants coming in from Canada, from Mexico, from Germany, from Japan. Toyota just agreed to invest $10 billion on new auto plants, all American workers. We've never been in a position like this. You can go back to the beginning. Our country has never been in a position like this.
Guys.
And it really is because of the fact that we use tariffs to bring all this money in. And you're going to see the results in a year when these plants start to open up. We have more plants under construction now than at any time in the history of our country. And these are big plants. These are the biggest plants anywhere in the world. And I want to thank you because you've agreed to invest $600 billion into the United States. And because he's my friend, he might make it $1 trillion, but I'm going to have to work on him. But it's 600. We can count on 600 billion, but that number could go up a little bit higher. Yes, sir. I don't know. We'll see. But we appreciate it very much. So Saudi is going to be investing at least $600 billion, and that means investments in plants, in companies, money on Wall Street, and what it really means for everybody that really counts is jobs, a lot of jobs. We have a lot of jobs. So I just want to thank you. We've been really good friends for a long period of time. We've always been on the same side of every issue. I think we've done a great job in wiping out the nuclear capacity of Iran. Nobody else could have done that.
It was a good thing.
Would have done it. We had the pilots in the Oval Office right here. We were celebrating a very successful attack. So I had them in with that beautiful B-2 bomber that's over there. And
dude, like all the gold is
said,
crazy.
for
though,
22 years,
it looked like we're in Saudi Arabia right now.
Our predecessors, these were very young guys. So 22 years, they said our predecessors and us practiced the attack on Iran. But no president ever gave us the go-ahead. 3 times a year they went out and they practiced the attack. Nobody let us do it until you came along, and I let them do it because it was the right thing to do. You can't have a nuclear Iran. And so we put you in a very good position. But I just want to say it's an honor to be your friend, and it's an honor that you're here. And if you'd like to say a few words, but thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. This relation has been a relation for about 9 decades, and we've been working together for a long time. But today it's a very important time in our history because there is also a lot of things that we're working on in the future. We believe in the future of the United States of America. We believe in what you're doing, Mr. President, really creating a lot of good things and good foundation to create more economic growth, more business in America. And it will also your work for the world peace. I believe, Mr. President, today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we are signing today in many areas in technology, in AI, in earth materials, magnet, etc., that will create a lot of investment opportunities.
So you are doing that now. You're saying to me now that the 600 billion will be 1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing, it will facilitate that, and we
I like that
will
very
build on it.
He works hard for that.
No, that's great. I appreciate that. That's great. We're doing numbers that nobody's ever done. And in all fairness, if you didn't see potential in the U.S., you wouldn't be doing that.
Definitely.
You don't want to lose money.
As you said, Mr. President, it's the most hottest country in the planet. But what you're creating is not about opportunity today. It's about also long-term opportunity in the United States of America that will affect American economy positively in the next coming decades, preparing the right foundation of emerging technologies. That's a game changer for America in a good way, and we want to be part of it.
Yeah, we're doing really well. And this, you don't see what we're doing so much because we have, although the construction industry sees it. If you look at Caterpillar, who's been incredible, the tractors, everything else, the numbers that we're doing in construction are unbelievable. Some of the plants that we're building, AI, and they're building their own electric with the plant. I gave them the right to build their own electric with the plant because no country, frankly, will have this. China's working very hard to produce enough electric, but we're beating China substantially at AI, which is a big thing. And we had a great meeting 2 weeks ago with President Xi, but on AI, we're doing well. And I have a man, David Rommel.
Yes, sir.
David, could you say a few words about what you're seeing on the job front and all of the some of the assets, and also
seems like
how
Trump has finally gotten the message that like a lot of people are kind of mad about
Please.
Yeah, most certainly. Thank you for the opportunity. I am
the economy and the job market, that he hasn't done
if
more.
you look at the landscape for GE Vernova investment, over $750 million in the U.S. focused on true manufacturing jobs. here stateside. We're looking at tripling the output of our Greenville, South Carolina facility, where we make the gas turbines that are supporting U.S. needs as well as the Saudi Arabia needs.
Right.
So real jobs, $300 million in gas investment, resulting in over 500 pieces of new equipment being installed in the Greenville, South Carolina facility. That translates into roughly 1,800 jobs across the board for GE Vernova as we try to scale capacity to be able to meet this demand. Along with that, we're partnering with local communities to build the skill set that's required to meet these capacity needs. So that talent pipeline is incredibly important. So it's real jobs in the manufacturing space.
Well, you've been great, and thank you very much. And
Yeah, we need to see it, though.
I won that state by record numbers. I won a lot of states by record. Texas, a lot of them by Indiana. We're working with Indiana or something right now. We won that. We won a lot of them by records, but that was one of them. I want to thank you very much. Say hello to everybody. Great job. You're doing a great job. Thank you. So, just in wrapping up, we'll take a couple of questions, but I want to just tell you what an honor it is to be your friend. And I very much appreciate the investment of now $1 trillion, okay? I'm glad you got that out. I didn't want to be the one to tell them, but that's great news.
We keep increasing, Mr. President.
I know.
Each time the opportunities are just increasing more and more.
I mean, dude, to the Saudis, though, what's a trillion? That's like what they give as like wedding presents.
You feel even better. So, and I think we're only going to go in one way. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. President, have you approved the export licenses for advanced chips to Saudi Arabia? The export licenses?
We are working on that. We're negotiating that right now. Marco, do you want to talk about that, or Scott?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of what we may have announcements on that later today. But that's what we've been working on is the mechanics by which something like that can be achieved. And it's part of the broader process, part of this broader engagement and cooperation between our two countries.
Certain levels of chips. Yeah.
And for the Crown Prince,
I mean,
you're talking about
what we really need to see some growth in the economy and growth in jobs and stuff like that if he wants to kind of halt the fracturing that's been happening in the MAGA movement and stuff. Price come down, things like that. We need to see it tangibly.
$1 trillion of investment. Could the kingdom continue to do that with oil prices in the mid-60s?
Yeah, we are not creating a fake opportunities to, please America, please President Trump. It's real opportunities. For example, when you ask about the AI and the chips, Saudi Arabia have a huge demand of, a huge need of computing power, and we're going to spend in the short term around $50 billion by consuming those semiconductors for our needs in Saudi Arabia. And with the agreement that we're going to have with United America, that will allow us to focus that consuming power in the short term by $50 billion from United America, and long term with hundreds of billions of dollars in the long term. So there's a lot of real opportunities that fit to our need in Saudi Arabia and fit to our investment strategy.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the worst in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who.
She ain't getting invited to the White House again.
Who was president? There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
It's just you ask, Mr. President,
Please,
you allow me to answer. You know, I feel painful about, the families of 9/11 in America, but, we have to focus on reality. Reality based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents that Osama bin Laden, he used Saudi people in that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose of 9/11. So whoever buying that means they are helping Osama bin Laden's purpose of destroying this relation. He knows.
I mean, he's not
that
wrong.
Strong relation between America and Saudi Arabia, it's bad for extremism, it's bad for terrorism.
Yep.
And we have to approve him wrong and to build our relation and continue developing our relation. It's critical in the safety of the world. It's critical against extremism and terrorism. About
That was still a wild question, though. Man,
to hear,
I wasn't expecting that. That hit me out of left field.
Been losing his life for no real purpose or nothing illegal way, and it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of investigation, etc., in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that, and it's painful and it's a huge.
I mean, here's like the thing, right? You can't hold Saudi Arabia and the royal family responsible forever for that kind of stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I don't know. I mean, there's intelligence people that know a lot better on their ties and everything else, but like the way we fix stuff is by working together. Like whether it's your worst enemy or your best friend, if the US and Saudi start generating money together, there ain't going to be terrorist attacks, at least none that are Saudi sponsored or Saudi born. Like that's just the reality. If we're making money off of each other, that solves a lot of the problems. As silly as that sounds, like, I mean, if you're in business and you and your top competitor do a merger, like you're gonna stop like bashing the competitor and running counter ads and stuff like that, because that would hurt your money. So at the end of the day, I mean, it kind of is what it is.
Mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
Mr. President,
Thank you, Mr. President. The Crown Prince has been instrumental in helping lifting the sanctions on Syria. Will there be any joint investment between the U.S. and Syria? And will you visit Damascus?
Are you from Syria?
No, but
Where are you from?
I'm from Palestine.
Oh, you're making a lot of progress, huh? Very good. Well, they like me. The Palestinians like me. The Palestinians are doing very well, actually. I think we're working very closely with a lot of people to make everybody happy, including Israel, the Palestinians, and everybody. That's very interesting.
You love saying shit like that. He knows it's just going to needle the lefties.
I will tell you, the Crown Prince called me, and he specifically asked me if I would lift the sanctions on Syria, because he wants to see Syria make it. As you know, the leader of Syria was just here, and we had a great meeting, and he's a strong guy.
Yeah, that was another one, right?
Like
everybody hated that he was meeting with that guy, but it's like, what are you going to do? The guy's running Syria.
We did lift the sanctions at the request of the Crown Prince. Also, the president of Turkey, Erdogan, called me specifically. He said, if you don't lift the sanctions, Syria doesn't have a chance. If you do, they have a very good chance.
Yeah, for this?
And between the two of them and some others, I lifted the sanctions. And the results so far have been pretty good.
Mr. President, can I ask you a question about the F-35s that are being sold to Saudi Arabia? Are these the same ones that are being used by the Israeli military? And if so, how does that allow for the qualitative military edge for Israel? And then I want to ask you, because you brought up the plight of the Palestinians, are you aware of relocation flights to South Africa that are taking place right now?
Which flights?
There are relocation flights that are taking place. Some Palestinians are being charged up to $2,000
I'm not going to
a seat.
South Africa for the G20 because I think their policies on the extermination of people are unacceptable. So I'm not going, so I won't refer to anything having to do with South Africa. South Africa has behaved extremely badly. But I will say that when you look at the F-35 and you're asking me, is it the same? I think it's going to be pretty similar, yeah.
How will that
This
affect?
is a great ally, and Israel's a great ally. And I know they'd like you to get planes of reduced caliber. I don't think that makes you too happy. They've been a great ally. Israel's been a great ally. And we're looking at that exactly right now. But As far as I'm concerned, I think they are both at a level where they should get top of the line. Yes, please.
I just want to ask for the Crown Prince, if I could just ask about the direct
Got the vote coming up for
One
the
second.
Epstein
Go ahead.
files
Have you
too.
reached an agreement on a U.S.-Saudi defense treaty today? And are you going to bring up the Abraham Accords in your
I
discussion?
already brought them up.
What did you say?
I think I got a positive response. Would you like to respond?
Yeah, so
put you on the spot.
yeah, so definitely we believe having a good relation with all Middle Eastern countries, it's a good thing, and we want to be part of the Ibrahim Accord, but we want also to be sure that we secure a clear path of two-state solution. And today we have a healthy discussion with Mr. President that we're going to work on that to be sure that we can prepare the right situation as soon as possible to have that.
I think we're, I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk on the Abraham Accords. We talked about one state, two state. We talked about a lot of things in a short period of time. We'll be discussing it further too. But I think you have a very good feeling toward the Abraham Accords.
Yes, definitely, Mr. President. We want peace for the Israelis. We want peace for the Palestinians. We want them to coexist peacefully in the region, and we will do our best to reach that day.
And the defense agreement, have you reached agreement on that?
We pretty much have.
I mean, it's pretty revolutionary for Trump to have all these guys from the Middle East in the White House, right? Not be at war with
I
them.
wanted to ask you about the direct talks
conflicting
between the United
constantly.
States and Iran. Have you been fully briefed on that, and are you concerned at all about how this might impact Saudi security interests?
Well, we are close ally. We'll be working closely together on that issue, and we will do our best to help to reach a deal between the United States of America and Iran. And we believe it's good for Iran's future to have a good deal that will satisfy the region and the world and the United States of America. So we will do our best to see that day happen.
And by the way, Iran does want to make a deal. I can say I think they very badly want to make a deal. I am totally open to it, and we're talking to them, and we start a process. But it would be a nice thing to have a deal with Iran, and we could have done it
What's up,
before the war,
Jags
but
fan?
that didn't work out. And something will happen there, I think. But they would very much like, they may say something else, but they would very much like to have a deal.
Do we have a timeline?
That you are going to sell 35 F-35
Say
jets.
it.
You said you are planning to sell the F-35 jets to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Is it part of the security agreement? And how you assess the defense partnership between?
I mean, I'd
Saudi
rather he
Arabia
sell them
and
to him than
United
leave them in
States?
Afghanistan
And,
for
what's
free
the
like
position?
You
Biden.
just said it, though. We're going to sell them F-35s. That's the end of the question, I
Is it
guess.
part of the security agreement or no?
No, we're going to have a deal. They're going to purchase F-35s. They're buying them from Lockheed, and it's a great plane. We make, by the way, the best military equipment. You saw that during the Iran little skirmish. We make the best planes, the best missiles. We make the best offensive missiles. We make the best military equipment in the world.
Nice. For His Royal Highness, I'd like to ask you about how you see
I don't
the
think there's much doubt in
cooperation
that.
between the United States and Saudi Arabia in the advanced technological field, especially AI, and how it will support Saudi Arabia to serve its goals to achieve the vision of 2030.
Well, I will try to answer that in short, but definitely there's a lot of interest in many industries between Saudi Arabia and America, and we are signing a lot of agreements in different areas that will really add value to American economy, but also it will add value to us in Saudi Arabia. And AI, it's critical for us because one of the long-term problems that we could have is lack of workforce. As you've seen in the past few years, some of them have reached 30% of the global immigration to Saudi Arabia.
That's
So
the big
we know
thing I'm
that
concerned about. I don't know about y'all,
assure
but
Saudi Arabia GDP growing with the lack of workforce that we have, we need
AI
to use
can replace a lot of jobs.
computing power to replace job in the long term. So that's huge demand in Saudi Arabia, and we want to link it to American private sectors and getting the supply from America. So there's a lot of opportunities in that area.
And we're also involved in AI in Saudi Arabia. So we're working, and we're leading by a lot on AI. Actually a lot. China would be in second place, but we're leading by a lot. And I have to say this, and our relationship with China has been very good. And as far as buying our farm products, they're pretty much on schedule, Scott. I'd like you to call them, say if they could speed it up, it would be good. Okay, but they're pretty much on schedule.
Saudi Arabia, please. If I may, I have a question for both the Crown Prince
go
and
ahead.
Prince.
Who are you? Where are you from?
Faisal Abbas from Arab News, Saudi Arabia, Your Excellency.
It should be a friendly question.
Your Royal Highness, just picking up on something you've just mentioned about how some people try to destroy the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States. Perhaps, since the launch of the vision, we've been used to having the bigger picture and that everything fits into the bigger picture. Might you want to elaborate a little bit about where is the relationship, the bilateral relationship, the strategic partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States heading, and what's the big picture there?
Well, I don't think it's a relation that we can replace it from the Saudi side or the American side. It's a critical relationship for our political attempt, for our economical attempt, for our security, for our military, for many things. And it has been there for 9 decades. And the
I mean, the Saudi don't want wars and stuff in the Middle East. They don't want a war with the U.S. They want peace.
Decades. And what we are having today and tomorrow with
They'd have to be stupid to want it. They might want to change things about the U.S., but they definitely want peace with us.
When you think about it, I'm just sitting here. You're with the future king, a man who's respected by everybody, a man that doesn't have to be doing this, really. I don't have to be doing it either. And yet we're sitting here taking questions. We didn't say, oh, you can't talk about this. And there's never been transparency like this, even in his country. But there's never been, in our country, that's been acknowledged. But we didn't put restrictions. And I'm saying it's sort of wonderful to be taking questions from all over the world. Everybody's here. This is just a small group representative of tremendous numbers of media that are outside, that are very jealous that these people were so selected. But they're representing a lot of people that are outside.
I bet they regretting picking that ABC girl.
I think it's really a wonderful thing. Yeah.
If you don't mind, I have a personal question for you.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, he speaks English pretty good too, like pretty articulate, huh?
De-escalated 7 wars since you started. At least in our part of the
world,
a lot of
even the foreign leaders, like they speak with a pretty heavy accent, and he's
adding that to all the executive orders and everything else you've mentioned.
Probably watches a lot
I really have
of
to wonder. In your speech in Saudi Arabia, I was there. You said that His Royal Highness does not sleep at night, thinking how he does things better. We wonder in Saudi Arabia, how do you manage your own time, and what's your formula for management?
He does not sleep much, and I don't sleep much. I think we have the same schedule. We're thinking about our countries, and if you sleep a lot and you're president, we just had one that slept more than any president. He broke every record. He sleeps all the time, during the day, during the night, on the beach. The only guy could fall asleep on the beach with the press watching.
He's never going to stop hating on Biden, bro.
I'm not a sleeper. We don't. We talk at night.
That was a year ago.
I can call him almost any time. He goes, hi, how you doing? It's like the craziest times. But now, when you love your job, when you love your country, and when you're in a position like we are, future king, highly respected, crown prince, and in my case, president, you're thinking about your country. You're thinking about making America great again.
The left going to clip that. Trump talking about being a future king. I already see it.
In a pretty tough part of the world.
TikTok's incoming.
Tricky part, right? Tricky part. A lot of tricky people. But he thinks about his country, and I think about my country. I don't want to sleep.
President Trump, do you expect a formal civil nuclear deal to be reached soon? Can you talk to us about that aspect with Saudi Arabia?
I can see that happening. Yeah.
Do you think that an agreement will happen today?
It's not urgent. It's always when you have civil nuclear, but you have more oil than almost anybody else. We actually have more oil and gas than they do, but I refuse to say that. We have more than we have more than anybody. Can you imagine?
And on the F-35s, are those sales? Israel had reportedly wanted those sales to be conditioned on Saudi Arabia moving to normalized relations.
Israel will be happy. Israel's going to be happy.
Condition of the F-35.
Israel's aware, and they're going to be very happy. Okay? Yeah, please. Hello.
Hi, hello. My name is Amal Hazani from Sharq al-Awsat newspaper, from Riyadh, of course.
Oh, from Riyadh.
I have a question for the Crown Prince and for you, Mr. President. Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, how much you expected from developing the cooperation with the United States in the field of new energy, AI, supply chain? How much you expected from that?
No limit. We just continue pushing forward. There's no limit. So we just push forward for all the opportunities that we have.
You have to understand, this is really a great ally. Just the fact that they're now doing. I came in here at 6. I did not know that. I was pushing for the 1
I
trillion.
mean, the thing
but
for
he
me,
didn't tell
right?
me that.
Like the U.S.
Now,
over the last
this is
50 years has
great ally of ours.
sent so much
You know,
money
when
to
you
Saudi
invest
Arabia.
$1
Like
trillion,
we've made a lot of their
that's
wealth.
national
So
security for us.
we can
too.
get some of that back
Because it
right
creates
now.
Jobs, it creates a lot of things.
Not really a bad
And I would
thing.
say, Scott, right? When you hear one country's putting
Even if we got
$1
to adorn
into
gold around
the United
the
States,
prince
that
here.
creates national security. And you know, I think that they don't have to say that, but I think a big part of that is also the fact that tariffs are in play. But even beyond tariffs, that's a real ally that will do that. Creates a lot of power for the United States.
We are also in Saudi Arabia very happy because this much of Saudi money is a function here, and of course it's come back for us for benefits. So it's complementary interest. So this is the I think what's different the friends and ally do.
Well, look, I love the country of Saudi Arabia. I know the people very well. The level of treatment that we go when we go to Saudi Arabia is something that is incredible. And the people like us, and I think they really like America, especially when I'm president. I mean, I don't think they liked America so much maybe for 4 years recently. I think Obama treated Saudi Arabia very, very badly, as you know. And I think Biden didn't have any idea where the hell he was.
Biden didn't know what he was doing most of the time. Let's be real.
The future relationship with Saudi Arabia. I mean, from the strategic aspects. How would you describe that?
Say the relationship is with? I would say top of the line. It's as good as it can. I don't think it can get much better. We have a country that trusts us, and that's why they make that investment. If they didn't trust us, they couldn't make that investment. And we trust them. They've been very reliable. Now I rebuilt our military in my first term. And we spent trillions of dollars, and we gave away some of it in Afghanistan stupidly because we had stupid people running our country. But we gave away. But that's as much as it was. It's a tiny fraction of what we put here. And we're bringing our military to a new level, the highest level ever. We have those plans to go now. And again, it's all American jobs and everything, so it's good for a lot of reasons. But as far as Saudi is concerned, no, I don't think our relationship could be better. I don't think they had a great relationship under Biden, and I don't think they had a great relationship under Obama. But they have a great relationship under Trump. When we did the presidential Walk of Fame, you saw that, right? And we're walking, and I asked the Crown Prince, so outside of Trump, because I blow everyone away, who was the best president for Saudi Arabia? And you could it's an interesting answer, I don't know.
The Roosevelt who started it, which is a Democrat, and Reagan, he's one of the historical presidents that have close ties with Saudi Arabia.
Sure.
But we've worked with all presidents.
Does Trump blow them all away?
No, it's another league, Mr. President.
Trump's something else, bro.
And Trump doesn't give a fist pump. I grabbed that hand. I don't give a hell where that hand's been. I grabbed that hand.
I remember the first time he touched him, everybody was freaking out.
For 20 hours, gets out.
Because normally nobody touches the royal family, apparently.
When you get out of the plane and you got the
I don't know,
future
I'm
king
not
and the
super
man
well
is
versed
one of the
in,
most respected people in the world,
Saudi customs.
you shake
but
his hand. You don't give him a fist pump, right? We don't want to ask you about that, but I can't imagine you were thrilled. You were like a little bit surprised. He's a fantastic guy. You don't do that. Yeah, please.
We're getting closer to the end of the year. Have you started the interviews for the Fed chair?
Yes.
Who have you interviewed?
Let's see how much of this is left, because I really want to see what's going on with the Epstein file vote.
He's not going to take the job. He refused. You like Treasury better, right?
About 10 more minutes, okay.
So we are talking to various people, and frankly, I'd love to get the guy currently in there out right now.
Epstein file vote.
But people are holding me back. He's done a terrible job, hurting housing a little bit. The truth is, we've been so successful, we've blown past his interest rate stupidity. He's been wrong.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, love or hate Trump, like,
Jerome
The dude's got
Powell.
good people
He was
skills. Like,
recommended to me
you really
by a guy
can't deny
made a
that.
bad
You
choice.
don't meet many people that
And
sat in a
it's too
room
bad.
with
But
him and
despite that,
dislike
it's
him.
having very little
you
impact
know?
because we have all of these things happening.
You look at
But it has an impact on
Bill
housing to a
Maher
certain
and
extent.
everyone else
He's
that
a fool.
hated
He's
him
a
and then met
stupid
him in
man.
person, loved him.
But we have some very good people.
Yes, sir. You'll be sitting
And
down with
I
them in
think
the
that's a
near
good thing,
future.
really, too. Like, it's a good thing that people that meet him in person like him. You know, that a lot of people, you know, you can get whatever opinions you want off social media. I mean, you know, I've been in the social media space for like 6 years now-ish, and I've had plenty of people hate on me, make up stories about me, do all sorts of crazy stuff. So, you know, but I don't know very many people that have met me in person that don't like me. And so, you know, kind of the same thing. People can say whatever they like, whatever they want about Trump, but, you know, he goes from having like church pastors to, you know, brutal dictators, and they all like chilling with him. So he's obviously like personable and a decent guy in person.
We have some surprising names, and we have some standard names that everybody's talking about. And we may go the standard way. You know, it's nice to every once in a while go politically correct. But we have some great names. Steve, please.
Talk to President Maduro.
Every once in a while go politically correct.
He wants to talk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm open to talk. I talk to everybody. But no, he wants to. They treated us very badly. They sent all of their prison population into the United States, and we're getting them out rapidly. But he sent all of his, and he sends drugs into the United States.
Pretty crazy if you guys look at like
he treated
the
us badly. He was dealing with a bad president, and he was able to get away.
the mugshot of like the people ICE has taken down.
The borders anywhere in the world. Nobody's
Some
coming in.
bad hombres
unless
to
they
use
come in illegally.
some old political language.
Very weak borders where millions of people came in. For the last 6 months, I mean, I don't do these reports. They say 0 people have been able to come in. Is that pretty good?
Mr.
I don't know
President,
if that's right, but it's
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible
I was going to pause and say, translation, don't be a dick. But then you're a terrible person.
reporter. As far as the Epstein files I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a
It seems to be that way too. Like, it's crazy that the
I
left
guess I
is
would
using
turn out
this
to
as
be
like a
right.
talking
But you know
point
who does
now.
have? Bill Clinton.
Like, guys, the left had the Epstein files for 4 years. Okay. They prosecuted Trump 34 times for basically the same crime that wasn't even really a crime, but they found some old obscure statute that they could make it a crime. And then they charged him 34 times for the commission of that single non-existent crime. You really think if they had the slightest thing, even even if there was something that said like, yeah, Trump really likes them girls, not even referring to like young girls or anything. If they had an email or anything from Epstein saying something like that, don't you think they would put it out? That's why they're having to doctor up emails and stuff and, you know, use defensive redacting or whatever you want to call it to make the emails look bad. Because like the Epstein, I looked through a lot of them. It's of the 20,000 they released a couple days ago. It seems pretty obvious that Epstein hated Trump after he kicked him out and talked about him a ton. Well, 1, because he was the president, but 2, because he hated him and thought he was a POS and was trying to help the Democrats ruin him. So it's like, I don't know how you can look at that stuff and then be like, yeah, Trump's hiding the Epstein files because he was a pedo. It's like, dude, like you literally have all these emails where Epstein is saying like he was never able to get him to, you know, get a massage, and he wasn't blackmailable and blah, blah, blah. And he's a POS and he hates him and he wants him to be dethroned. Like if he had some, like Epstein would have used it. It's crazy.
Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his.
Exactly,
you don't even talk about those people.
Doesn't hold back, speaks his mind.
Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today.
And the thing is too, like, I'm not even like a big Trump glazer, right? Like, I think he's done a fairly good job so far. Way better than Camilla would have done and way better than Biden did. But I'm still fairly pissed off at a few things he hasn't fixed right now. Like, I think he could do a whole lot more with the mayors in the cities that aren't prosecuting criminals and aren't stopping protests and riots, right? I'm in Oregon, so we got Portland, and the ICE facility was getting bombarded every day for, 3 months, 4 months, until a group of mostly conservative influencers, Cam Higbee, Cho Show, Chris Daly, all of those guys, Nick Sorter, Nick Shirley, all of those guys went down there and basically, harass the cops until they enforce the laws to get rid of the protesters. And they're still down there. They're just not being nearly as much of a nuisance. They've gotten calmed down a bunch since then. But it's like, why isn't he doing things like he has the federal jurisdiction to do that stuff? You know what I mean? When states aren't upholding the law, when states are breaking federal law, the federal government and the president has the power to step in. And if he was the big tyrannical dictator that a lot of the people on the left make him out to be, he would have stepped in like during his first presidency, let alone now, and he hasn't at all. And I wish he would do a little bit more in that respect. I think home prices need to come down. I think the colleges need to get mostly defunded. He's letting them take all this foreign money when they couldn't. So yeah, so it's not like I'm a big Trump glazer or anything either, but like the dude's smart. Like, he's not an idiot, and I definitely don't think he's a pedo from everything we've seen from the Epstein files. Yeah, I mean, Drew, that is exactly what I think is what's holding him back. I think most of what's holding him back from doing the stuff that a lot of his supporters want him to do is he doesn't want to cross that line, you would say, where he goes from, trying to enforce the law at a federal level to then imposing federal law onto the states. And I even think there's a pretty large congregation of the Republicans in government that agree with that, because the classic government principle for Republicans is states' rights, right? Let the state govern itself and the feds, just handle country matters, right? That is kind of the classical opinion from a Republican. So I'm sure he gets a lot of influence and pressures to hey, they voted for it, let them burn down the city, is kind of the attitude from some of his advisors. But I mean, he's not a dumb guy. So just do something. Like, some of these mayors could literally be arrested. They've done things that are bad enough that they should be arrested. And I think pre 2005, they might have been. I mean, when I was growing up, we used to have government officials get arrested for stuff, taking money or bribery or fraud scams or other stuff. And you almost don't see that nowadays, even though there's obvious things going on. Just first one that comes to mind, I don't know if this is the greatest example, but first one that comes to mind is Gavin Newsom's whole homeless crackdown in California, right? They put billions of dollars of taxpayer money into stopping homeless on a 10-year plan. We're 15 years into it, and homeless rates have gone up 10x. So where did all that money go? Portland's had the same thing. I've watched reports where it's this project gets funded $10 million to build 50 homes. they only build like 3, and then the company goes bankrupt that all the money got, or the NGO organization or whatever. So like what, like the taxpayers of Oregon's got 3 homes for $10 million. Like that money went somewhere. And I bet you a portion of it could be traced back to the politicians if anybody looked in. So it's like, arrest these people, like get it done. Like, I don't understand why fraud and crime have gotten to be so acceptable nowadays. Like, it's crazy, right? Because I'm a business guy and I'm an entrepreneur and stuff, and I've run businesses for other companies and I've ran my own businesses, and it's like I do stuff with such integrity, and like it almost makes you question yourself as like, why? Like, why bother acting with integrity? Why bother doing any of that? Now, like, I'm a Christian, right? Like my morals wouldn't allow me to do anything else, but it's frustrating. Frustrating to, when you're following the rules, to see everyone else not following the rules and getting away with it.
Folks, now I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, 0, no money to me.
Yep.
But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC, because your news is so
He's
fake.
just ripping into
and it's
this
so
girl.
wrong. And we have a great commissioner,
I miss
chairman.
this. They need to start letting all the lib reporters back into the White House, because this is
and when
great.
you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should.
By the way, guys, this is my first ever stream on YouTube, so let me know how like the video looks. Let me know if the audio levels and everything are good, if anything's jacked up. Please let me know. I mostly do videos, but I want to start doing like some streams and stuff during the day, and so this is my first one on YouTube. So just let me know. Let me know if it's looking good. I'd appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with him all the time. What's his name?
There's a lot of people with Epstein,
Reid
a
Hoffman.
lot.
I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he
It's
spends
crazy.
a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You ought to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
Prince, very quickly, I want to ask you, how much money is Saudi Arabia giving for Gaza reconstruction?
We are in discussion about that. Still, there is no amount being
It'll be a lot.
named, but
It'll be a lot.
we will definitely get.
Yeah, he's going
It'll be a lot.
to. It's very important to him.
And a quick follow-up, the International Security Force, given your
Dude,
pledge
bro,
there will
no
be
lie,
US
like-
boots on the
This seems like a relationship where like Trump is kind of like the husband and he's kind of the wife. And like, don't give me any death threats or anything for that. But it's like this guy, everything he says, he's kind of like 50-50 on, and Trump's just like, yep, nope, like just like, you know what I mean? Kind of the dominant personality between the two. It's pretty funny.
ground. What is the U.S. role going to be in that? And how do you sort of ratify the allegations that this could undermine Palestinian sovereignty and even the path to statehood?
Look, I think we're going to get along great with the Palestinians, and we know their leadership. We just had a very, you hate to say war, but it was a war. Very, very successful. And you could say really it was on behalf of everybody. We did that on behalf of everybody. And the outcome was extraordinary because we had the best pilots, the best equipment, the best planes, the best everything. And Israel bought the best equipment. They bought it from us. Everything's from us. It all starts here. This office, I was talking to the Crown Prince a little while. You walk into this office, for somebody from the outside, the Oval Office, it's the most powerful place in the world. You're standing right now in the most powerful place in the world. And no matter how big you are, these are the biggest people, the richest people.
I've heard leaders from around the world talk about their first time going in the Oval.
He's so happy to be here. But you walk into this office, it's the Oval Office, and we've done a lot of good with this office. I've stopped actually 8 wars. I appreciated your question before, but I've actually stopped 8 wars. I have another one to go with Putin. I'm a little surprised at Putin. It's taken longer than I thought, but we stopped India and Pakistan. I could go through the list. You know the list better than I do. I'm very proud. And I stopped one that was almost ready to start again. You know, there was one that was ready to start, and they're doing very well. So and it all took place right here in the Oval Office, whether by telephone or whether by they came in. Many of these leaders have come in, and you know they signed their peace deals right here in the Oval Office. So no matter if it's the biggest business people in the world or the greatest leaders in the world, the biggest leaders in the world, like the gentleman on my right, everybody walks into the Oval Office and they say, wow. And now, by the way, the Oval Office is in the kind of condition that it should be in. Whether you look at the walk or the marble floors or anything down the road, we're fixing the White House. We're building one of the greatest ballrooms ever to be built. You know, we have an event tonight, and we're going to have about 118 people because we have a very small room. For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom, and now you're going to get a great ballroom. And I have to say, I probably made a lot of enemies because, in your honor,
Left was not happy about that ballroom, man.
Tonight, and we have a very small room, right? It's called the East Room, and it's beautiful. It's lovely, but it's like for a little cocktail before you go into a ballroom. It's a very small room. They've wanted a new ballroom for 150 years. We could have sold the big ballroom out 3 times in honor of this gentleman. So I made a lot of enemies because I have a lot of people that are invited tonight or are unable to come because of the size constraint. But you know what we'll do before I leave office? We'll have another dinner because we'll have it ready long before I leave office, and it's going to be beautiful. It's a very popular thing what we're doing. And by the way, no government funds. It's all put up private money, all private money. And in the case, I think there's a restriction on foreigners. Otherwise, I could have asked you just for a check, okay? But there's a restriction. These are all private individuals that put up a lot of money to build the ballroom. Not one penny is being used from the federal government. So it's really
That's funny because every CNN report I see is how he stole taxpayer money to build a ballroom.
To have that ballroom open, Susie. If we had that open, we'd have a lot of people very happy. Right now, we have a lot of unhappy people because they all
go straight back. This is what I wanted to watch next. Looks like they're